All right. Episode 64. It's going to be a good one. My name is Eric Feeney, founder and president of Friends of Feeney. Our mission is to help children and families that have heartbreak or tragedy. I use this podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends, and I talk to wonderful people that are doing great things in the community. And today, Rabbi Steven Chatinover.
Yeah, that's it.
Chatting over. Rabbi. Well, I'm here with the Rabbi, one of my favorite teammates of all time. He plays at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center. How long you been balling over there, Rabbi?
I started in the fall of 1995, about a year or so after my wife and I moved to West Hartford.
That's great. I want to ask you, when's your last haircut?
My last haircut was about a week and a half ago. Really needed it badly, and I was very happy to get it.
Nice. Who's your barber?
John Lamani in Avon.
Nice.
Great barber, nice guy to talk to. Just a very pleasant barbering experience.
Right. How long has he been your barber?
I'm going to say about 4 or 5 years. I was looking for a barber when the one I went to stopped. And then my middle son, at that point, said, well, there's this barber I go to in Avon. You should try him. And it's been a good match.
Great. Have you ever had a fade? Fatty up fade?
No, I'm going to hold on those. The closest I came to doing anything wild when I was early on in my rabbinate, Miami Vice was a big TV show. My wife was telling me, you should get your ear pierced. I said, I don't think my congregants are going to go for this. So I held off. That's about as wild as I even came close.
No, I ask because episode 63 took place at Jamel's Barbershop in Waterbury. A wonderful experience with a great friend. He was my barber for 30 years.
Nice.
And I caught up with a group of friends came. We had special guests. So thank you again. Check it out, Jamel's Barbershop on 551 Woken Street in Waterbury. Good friend, forever friend, doing great things. Finally opened his new shop, so we had a celebration.
Nice.
So check it out. So that's your barber. And we got some really cool we got 8 comments. Keep commenting on the podcast. There were 5 comments at lunch. Now there's 8.
There we go.
Most commented on podcast. Enough about that. 64. So, Rabbi. Oh, we have sponsors. I'd like to thank Direct Line Media, Kyle from Direct Line Media, Gastro Park, Weehaw Roasting and Brewing, West Hartford Lock, Goff Law Group, Keating Agency, and the Fix IV. You ever get a Fix IV?
I don't know if last time I might have had one.
You ever have a Crazy Donut? Donut Crazy?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, about a week ago, I was
Nice.
donut crazy.
So our sponsor, West Hartford Lock, 3 keys that make you a great rabbi. What are 3 keys that'll make you a great rabbi?
3 keys. You have to be knowledgeable, you have to love people, and you have to want to be doing it.
Have to love people, have to want to do it, and what was the first one?
Being knowledgeable.
Being knowledgeable.
And just doing the best you can to keep on growing your knowledge over time.
Yeah. And rabbi means teacher?
It means teacher. It comes from the Hebrew word rav, which means teacher. Yep,
Nice. So you're a teacher.
I am.
How long you been teaching?
Let's see. I've been teaching at the Solomon Schechter Day School at Greater Hartford. This is my 35th year. And even before I was officially teaching, I've always been involved in education for a number of years, even before that.
Wow, I'm in my 19th year. How many years was that again? Yours?
Well, I've been 35 at Schechter, yeah.
That's it? Just
Yeah,
35?
That's it.
Solomon Schechter in West Hartford. And we talked about Marissa Spector.
Yes. Marissa's been there for a number of years, really well-liked, well-respected teacher there.
Hi, Marissa. Hopefully you see this. Your husband's awesome. Matt's my boss at the summer camp. He's taking over as director of High Meadow Day Camp.
Oh, nice.
So small world. They have 3 little boys. Great kids, cute kids. So thank you for that. And do you have a favorite teacher? We'll get right into your favorite teacher of all time.
I was thinking about this when you emailed me a couple of months ago. It was a teacher I had. I must have been in, I want to say, was it 8th, 6th, 7th grade? 8th grade social studies teacher, Ms. Elsie Bryant. Probably one of the toughest teachers I ever had, but unquestionably one of the best. And one of the greatest things about her was she would not, I don't want to say wouldn't suffer stupidity, but if you didn't think about what you were saying, she got on your case. as she should have. It was American history. We were dealing with the Civil War and Reconstruction, and she was, I think, maybe the only African-American teacher I ever had. And we looked at we looked at firsthand documents, we looked at pictures, and she asked us to honestly talk about what we were reading, what we were seeing. And I think some students may have held back. I mean, those were the days, it was the late 60s. But she was tough and she pushed us. And she was just, when I think of teachers that come to my mind, she's definitely one of the best I ever had as a teacher.
Nice. What's her name again?
Ms. Elsie Bryant. My mother used to teach in the same school system, and I was never able to find out what happened to her. And she only taught for a few years at school. I have no idea where she went. I don't know if she's still alive. But if she's out there anywhere and she hears this, she was just really a great educator.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing when you have my fifth grade teacher is still near and dear to my heart, Mrs. Jarrell, and I talk about her a lot, think about her a lot. So it's just like that positive impact can change your whole dynamic.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And so you're Jewish. So, and you're a rabbi. So
I am.
you had the choice to become a rabbi. What
Yes.
made you choose to be a rabbi?
Somewhere around age 16, I decided that I wanted my Judaism to be a daily part of my life, but I also knew even at that age how much I enjoyed helping people. And to me at that point, the most logical path seemed to become a rabbi. So I was one of those lucky people who went to college really knowing what he wanted to do once he graduated.
Nice. And does a rabbi host like a bat mitzvah and a bar mitzvah, or they host?
A rabbi can officiate at those. You don't have to have a rabbi officiating at that, but generally in terms of how Judaism functions in North America, that's oftentimes what happens. Rabbis can be affiliated with congregations. They can be outside the congregational world, either working for organizations or, for example, as I do in education. All sorts of possibilities out there.
I remember I grew up in Waterbury, Connecticut, not a big Jewish population.
Right.
The first time I heard Jewish, or I learned about the Jewish religion, was on the Wonder Years. It's a show.
Oh, sure.
Kevin Arnold was not Kevin Arnold. That's what's his name?
Savage, but Fred
Savage. Fred Savage.
Fred
Very
Savage,
good.
yeah.
And his friend Paul.
Yeah.
Had a bar mitzvah on the show.
I may have seen that episode. I didn't watch the show regularly.
Yeah.
Someone may have clued me in to check out that episode.
And I just remember Kevin looking at Paul and Paul reading
from the Torah.
The Torah.
Yeah.
And just right away, it's a very interesting, unique language.
Yes.
That it's not, and you don't speak Jewish. What do you speak? You speak.
I'm not quite. I'm not totally fluent in Hebrew, but certainly when
Hebrew.
When I go with the 8th grade to Israel, I'll be able to manage with that. Oftentimes, when people say, "Do you speak Jewish?" they often they're referring to Yiddish, which is a language which is German written in Hebrew characters. So if you speak German, you can probably converse with someone who speaks Yiddish. They aren't exactly the same, but there's enough similarity there that you'll be able to communicate fairly decently.
Interesting. And it's like a very someone suggested, my buddy Scott said it's like a nasally type of language, or a in your throat kind of language.
Well, there's certain letters, because the language originates in the Near East, in the ancient Near East, that people sometimes will speak certain letters with a guttural sound that we in the West, in North America, really can't pronounce well. For example, if you talk about the Gaza Strip, we say Gaza Strip, G-A-Z-A. If I were pronouncing it in Hebrew, which is closer to the Arabic, it would be like Gaza. It's like the Hebrew letter ayin is a very deep guttural letter. Most of us here can't say it, but people who are brought up in that part of the world, or who trace their ancestry there, probably have an easier time with it. That's just it's a funny thing about languages.
Can you give us a couple lines? Can you say, good morning, how are you?
If I was going to say good morning, how are you? I would go Boker Tov, Mani Shma, how's it going? Something like that. Or Mahanyanim, Mahanyanim, what's going on? Machadash, what's new? There are all sorts of ways to do it. I'm not as good with colloquial slang Hebrew because I don't live in Israel, but there are all sorts of phrases just to find out how someone's doing.
Great. And is it informal way, like if you were talking to your friends, or formal talking to a teacher or a parent? Is that what you're saying?
Well, in terms of Hebrew, there really is, with French, there's the vous and the tu in terms of formal and informal. Hebrew is not quite the same. I mean, there's still, first person, second person, et cetera, and singular and plural, but it's not the same sort of formal and informal as you have in certain other, I think it's Romance languages.
And what about like female and male, A and
Yeah,
O's?
I mean it's a gendered language,
Oh, it is? Okay.
as our most languages. There are some moves in Hebrew. I'm really not as up on it as I'd like to be. There are some moves in terms of creating some non-gender phraseology in Hebrew. It's really still you have to be on the cutting edge to really know that as well. And so far, as languages evolve, that really at this point has not yet caught on. Who knows what I would be telling you in 10 years from now.
And how many times have you been to the motherland?
Oh, let me see. I was writing this down the other day just after my records. I think I've been to Israel, I want to say something like 13 or 14 times.
Oh, wow.
The most recent time was last year. My wife and I went for Passover and a little bit beyond.
What's it? The fund that everyone can go before they turn 18?
Well, I know. I mean, there's an organization called Birthright,
Yes.
which runs trips to Israel, and that's proved to be a huge success in terms of getting people to be able to visit Israel. And I know that they've expanded it recently. Usually, they were trying to hit mostly college-age people. I think now they're also trying to get people who are post-college as well.
So Birthright, there's a fund that
Yes.
they'll pay for your trip to go to Israel.
Yes, I think
it
you
has
have
to be
apply.
your first time or something, right?
I think it used to be having to be your first time, and I think they're trying to expand it out a little bit right now.
Oh.
I'm not as sure of the details, so I don't want to act as if I'm speaking authoritatively on it. But yeah, the goal is just to get people over to Israel, to experience Israel, to try and cut through some of the misconceptions people may have. I mean, I have a shoe guy I go to in South Windsor, and every so often I'll bring in a pair of shoes for him to work on. And I've mentioned from time to time when I'm going to Israel as a chaperone. He said, "Is it safe there?" I said, "Look, it's no different than if you go to New York City. There are certain places of New York City I would be worried about going at night, even being a native New Yorker. In Israel too, it's a lot safer than Western media portrays it to be."
Yeah, is the Birthright, do they have a structured plan trip, or are you free to go on your own?
I believe so. I believe it's, that they try and take over groups. I'm not sure of what size they do, and oftentimes they'll have a group leader. I believe they may set the itinerary in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism. I'm not quite sure how that works. But yeah, they're gonna send you on a I don't want to say a set journey. They're going to take you on a set itinerary in terms of that. The assumption is if you're intrigued enough, you'll want to go back and you may want to see certain things. I mean, the toughest thing about going to any foreign country, in Israel especially, is if you have like a limited time, 2 weeks, there's no way you can see everything. It's a question of when you go, you're going to see a lot, but there's still a lot on the table to see.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll encourage people to go back and pursue interest and go other places they weren't able to go before.
And I know that JCC runs like a 10-speed bike thing. Ty did it. Speaking of Ty, episode 22, Ty. Yeah, it's fun. I think that's a great.
It's a great thing. I haven't given up on the possibility of it yet. I mean, I'm 68. I'm in the sort of shape I want to be in, but if I want to do the Israel bike ride, I'd probably have to train a bit to get ready for it. And it's also done on a number of levels. I don't think I'd be able to go on the highest level, but it's a possibility.
Nice. Do you have family over there?
My sister-in-law and her husband live on Kibbutz Keturah, which is about 60 kilometers north of Eilat, which is way, way south. I'm trying to think. I think that's it for family who live there. I also have a high school classmate who moved there about 2 or 3 years ago to be closer to his his daughter and grandson. So that's about as close as I get.
Nice. Yeah, and I saw, you mentioned New York, where you went to, where are you? I have your resume here. well, I don't even know what that stands for. HUCJIR.
Hebrew
New
Union
York.
College, Jewish Institute of Religion. That's the rabbinic school I went to for 5 years after
Oh,
college.
very cool. And you got your ordainment in 1980. What's MHL?
MHL is a Master of Hebrew Letters. In terms of the course of study at my rabbinic school, after 3 years, you get an MHL, and then after 5 years, if you complete the program, you get rabbinic ordination.
Nice. Yeah, no, and I noticed right away longevity. You've been at your jobs quite some time. Solomon Schechter, 1989. Chad High School?
Oh,
Messing
Yachad.
up.
Yachad.
See, that's that.
Yachad has also changed names. I mean, it started off as Yachad, and then it became Jewish Teen Learning Connection, then was shortened to J-Teen, and that's been around since about 93, and even that built on something that was called Midrashah, which was a much more intensive supplementary high school experience, I'm guessing going back to the 60s.
Yeah, that's your bumper sticker, right?
Yeah.
Your magnet, JTAG.
That's it. That's
very
it.
cool.
Yeah.
See now, how foolish should I sound calling it Chad?
Yeah, it's all right, because if...
You're not mad at me?
No, because if you don't know it comes from the Hebrew, it would be very reasonable to make that pronunciation.
Let me practice. Teach me how to...
Okay. You would pronounce it Yachad.
Yachad.
That's it.
Yachad High
Yeah.
School.
There you
Yachad. Thank you for that.
No problem.
And you have some awards here. Award of Excellence, 2005. Numerous
gosh.
awards from the great... Yeah, this is the humble brag. I'll do all the bragging for you, Rab.
Okay, because I won't do it.
Numerous awards from Greater Hartford Area Commission on Jewish Education. Most recently, 2008, Innovative Program for Teens. Yeah, I don't know if you could answer this question, but
Sure.
I see a lot of middle school work
Yes,
and high
yes.
school work.
Yes.
Do you have a preference?
That's a great question. I like both ages. I mean, I've been teaching middle school now. I've been involved with 35 years. The great thing about teaching middle school is they're not children, they're not adults, they're somewhere in between. It's an awkward, difficult age. And if you as a teacher can be a steady force in their lives, if you can help them navigate the waters from moving from childhood towards adulthood, you can do a tremendous amount of good. And the really interesting thing is they never forget it. It was really about 2 weeks ago, a former Schechter parent's parent had died, and they had what's called a Shiva Minyan. They had a service at the house, and afterwards, two of the sons of the woman whose father died are twins, and they were there at the house. And then 3 other young men also from their same class at Schechter in 2019. So here I am after the service, and these 5 high school seniors all still want to talk to me, and it's not lost on me that a lot of students, once they leave middle school or whatever, want to have nothing to do with it. But here, these young men still wanted to talk with me and engage, and it was a special, sweet moment.
So that you form that connection and that rapport, and they'll never forget you.
Absolutely.
Just like you'll never forget your teacher.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great. How does that make you feel? Like, I always say, like, teachers don't make a lot of money, but we make a difference.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really great way of looking at it. If you go into teaching with the idea that, look, I'm never going to become rich from this, but I will have the opportunity to positively impact lives, then you're going in with the only mindset you really should be going in with. I mean, I still remember my mother was a public school teacher, and she asked me towards the end of her teaching career, should I still keep on teaching? I said, Mom, look, if you can still offer these kids something when you're 90, keep on teaching. I said, if you're going in just to collect a paycheck, stop now.
How long? Wait, when did she teach until?
I think
you
my
said
mom,
90? You didn't say 90.
No.
did you? Oh.
My mom is 92 now, but she stopped teaching, if my memory serves correctly, around 1988. I mean, she had maybe about somewhere between 25 and 30 years on the East Coast, mostly in Great Neck, and she had taught 3 years prior in the Los Angeles public school system when she used to live out there. So she was a long time public school teacher, and there's some students she still keeps in touch with.
Wow.
And who want to keep in touch with her. I have to tell you, when I went to my last high school reunion 5 years ago, I was talking with a classmate of mine who had happened to have my mother for a teacher in 5th grade, and she said, "How's your mom doing?" I said, "Give me a second." I take out my cell phone, dial my parents' number. I said, Mom, I have a student who wants to talk with you. And then she wound up speaking to like 2 or 3 students who were there at the reunion. It was great. I mean,
That's great.
She was on a high. The students loved it. It was wonderful.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, it's still to this day. Speaking of teaching, this happened to me this morning. Let me see if this ever happened to you. Let's see, where's my paper
Shoot.
here. So, weekend news.
Right.
How was your weekend? This is a student. And then you got to, summarize your, first we got a fish. First we got a fish for my sister. The next day the fish died.
Oh.
Then we got a fish again. And I went to a swim meet and we swam the 100 relay and the 50 free and 100 free. And last, we named the fish Mr. Feeney.
That's great. That's great.
So have you ever had a pet named after you?
Oh, not that I know of. It's not impossible, but my students did teach me something this year. I never realized this about myself. My 8th grade students are convinced that 1, I'm immortal, and that 2, I don't really live in a house. I live in the ducts in the
You
building.
sleep at school.
Of course. There's a penthouse. It's a penthouse in the ducts.
Yep.
But I still I live at school.
So that's funny. There's a Betta Fish out there named Mr. Feeney. Again, if you're not in the if any other job, you're not getting that.
No.
I made my day. Because on Mondays,
absolutely.
you're tired. Monday, you come in, but this kid, weekend riding, she's like, I got a fish, and I named him Mr. Feeney. And I had like bus duty, so I got him right off the bus. And I was
Sure.
like, my day is complete. I'm ready to rock and roll.
There you go.
Here
there
you go.
go. That's it.
So, yeah, and when I taught in Waterbury, there was a cat. Someone named the cat Mr. Feeney. So now there's a kitty cat, hopefully still alive, and a fish now, Mr.
There
Feeney.
you go.
Cat, Mr. Feeney. Then she goes, I'm going to go. She's going to prove it. So she's going to send in the picture. And I said, I want you to be in that picture. But you can't, put a price tag on that.
No,
it's amazing.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean,
And then I want to thank you because you took time out of your day, and I know you're busy, but you did, when I taught 2nd grade, which was maybe 2 years ago,
yeah.
we did a little pen paling.
Yes.
So that meant a lot, Rabbi. I really appreciate it. The kids loved getting letters from you. How'd that start? I forgot.
What had happened was I'd been a teammate a couple times with you in basketball, but there was an article on you, I think in the West Hartford News, about Feeney and friends. And I remember writing you a note saying, Eric, up to this point, I knew you were always a good basketball player, but you're an even better person.
Oh, that's right.
Then, and that sort of kicked it off, and then you must have talked to your students about me, and then they wrote to me, and I wrote back to them.
No, I'm so mad. I had the letters. I could have brought them. More show and tell. But that meant a lot.
Sure.
And speaking of, favorite teammate of all time, what is this? What do we got here?
There we go. That's our jersey this season.
Look at that.
Friends of Feeney Incorporated.
So Rabbi and I are teammates. Remember last time we were teammates? What happened?
Well, I'm thinking back to the first time we were teammates.
Oh, the first time.
Was your first year in the league.
Yep.
And I remember that, I spent a good deal of time trying to help acclimate you to the league and trying to give you pointers here and there. And to your credit, you were willing to listen to me.
Yep.
P.S. We wound up winning the championship. It was an incredible season.
You got to give me a that's it. Give me your best that's it. Come on.
That's it!
Love it. That's it. And there's our squad right here.
There we go. Oh, man.
There's
that's
Rabbi
us.
in the front.
There
There's
we
me in the
go.
back. Rick Hertz.
Oh, yes.
Dave, Joel, Duran, and Brandon.
Oh, wow.
Brandon and Duran, they're brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
Joel.
Yes.
And Rick Hertz, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
he's a friend.
yeah.
He's a big Friends of Feeney supporter.
3-point specialist.
Yep. That's all he can do. Can't play defense. Can't dribble. He could shoot threes.
But you leave
What
him
minute
open.
is this so I can tell Rick Hertz? What is 24 for Kobe, which he is not. He's like Kobe's left sneaker. Rick Hertz. I love him, but boy, Olay defense. Olay. No, it's great league that we play in.
Yes.
Yes. I love so that's it is a classic one to everyone. But
Yes.
for me, you're coaching. 2 hands. Because I like to get it. I don't know. What do I do? Let's break it down.
Sometimes you'll get the offensive rebound, and you'll try and go up with one hand. And I keep on telling you, 2 hands, you have much better control. use the backboard. The backboard is your friend. The backboard never lies. You do that, you have a much greater chance because you're so good at offensive rebounding. It's a shame to waste the shot once you're going back up.
Yeah, I like to just miss a couple in a row to get those more offensive rebounds. I'm
to
padding
get your stats up.
stats.
Yeah, there you go.
Miss. Those 3 rebounds.
I know, the last game.
2 weeks ago, terrible game. I cried on the way home. I cried in the shower.
It was a rough game.
I lost sleep.
It was rough.
But this week, most recently, I had 12 points. Like you said, I grabbed some offensive rebounds, and I felt better. I've been battling a bad back, and it's a long season.
Yeah. Well, the best thing about the last game was that we played tremendous team defense, and we were really taking our time looking for good passes on offense. It was just an overall tremendous team game.
Yeah.
And just everyone walked away feeling that way. I mean, we just have to keep on replicating it, that's all.
Yeah, very exciting. Great team, a fun team.
Yes, yes, good guys all.
Some people that, are mad about playing time or shot selection.
Nah.
But shout out to our captain, Chad Turner.
Here.
Adam, our stud and our go-to player.
There you go.
Billy Marco, our point guard and coach and manager. Jeff Taddeo, John Decker, Big Ryan.
Yep.
And Steve Chatinover. Chatinover. Yeah, speaking of John Decker is going to be the podcast guest next week.
Oh, cool. That's great.
What do you got to say about his game?
John's a strong player. He's consistent. He's a great teammate. He's not just looking for his shot. He'll do the dirty work on defense in terms of rebounding especially. He doesn't have to have the ball that much in his hands to be effective.
But when he does get the ball, what does he do with it right away?
He loves to shoot. You can see when he goes up and he gets the back spin on it. He loves that short jump shot.
Guy never met a shot he didn't like.
For sure.
Man, I don't know. I did blow an assist on him, but I was shocked that he passed it.
There you go.
Decker never passes. No, he's a great teammate. I'm very excited at chatting with him.
For sure.
What about shouting 2 hands at me and get it to a ball guy?
That's right. And if you get a rebound, do not dribble the ball up court. Get it to a ball guy. Let someone who plays guard do it.
My handles and my dribbling, is it that bad?
It's not that bad. It's just that other people are better. And it's also easier for you on offense. If you give the ball up to a ball guy, it's easier for you to set up in position in terms of offense. If you're dribbling the ball, you're going to take longer getting set in your offense. It doesn't suit your game as well.
I know, but it's
but it's fun.
Yeah,
of
such
course.
a bad habit, and I never get the ball, and just to feel it dribble in my hands a few times.
Yeah.
But every time, 1, 2, get it to a ball guy. I'm like, thanks, Rab. 2 hands. That was great advice. I did not miss a layup last week.
That's right.
Offensive rebound, laid it up.
And you're always going to do a good job because you're a strong player. You're committed to offensive as well as defensive rebounding. You've got the athletic ability. Now it's like the next little small step to use that really to its maximum.
Yeah, last week. So I dropped 22 on November 23rd.
Oh, there you go.
And I've been downhill ever since, and I just had 12.
We just have to play steady as a team. It doesn't matter how many points anyone scores. As long as we play well as a team, we'll be fine.
Who did we play last week? Oh, we lost. Oh, this week 2. Trent.
Oh, that should be
Big
good.
Chris.
Yeah.
Evan. Frank. Jeremy, and Jordan.
All right.
Jordan Jarvis. That was last week. This week is going to be Seth Brown, Avi, Davis. Davis is a good point guard.
Yeah, we have to shut him down from three-point range.
He's solid.
Yeah, if we shut him down from three-point range, I mean, Davis is going to get his points.
Eric Brown, shout out to Eric Brown. He is West Hartford Lock.
Nice.
He is the reason I got to ask you 3 keys that make you a great rabbi. That's Eric Brown.
Great. Nice guy.
Also on the podcast. Great person, great heart.
Oh,
huge supporter and sponsor. Oh, this Mike guy. Mike is the what is it called? Like a wild card, like a top secret. No one really knows. What's it? You got a under the radar player.
Yeah.
He's always in the championship. His team. I just hung out with him on Saturday. Great person. Steve Fisher.
Oh, great player.
Steve Fisher is who I wish I was. When I grow up, I want to be Steve Fisher.
There you go.
I was Steve Fisher 20 years ago. And then Tom Delaney. Oh boy, that guy. But
it'll be a good game. It'll be a good game.
And then Elliot, this Elliot guy,
Yeah.
big guy with a beard.
Oh, Elliot. Oh, yes. No, he shaved the beard.
I know, by accident. I guess he accidentally a guard fell off.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah. No,
But that guy's huge.
He's huge. I mean, I remember once saying a pick and having a run into me. He just like knocked me over. He started probably, sorry, Rabbi. I said, look, it's basketball. I mean,
Yeah.
it comes with the territory.
He came at me with a shoulder to the sternum. I thought,
Oh,
he's
man.
gonna blow up my chest.
Oh, man.
I'm coming for you, Elliot. Hopefully you don't watch this. He doesn't watch this. Oh, boy. But I saw Mike on Saturday, which brings me to my next thing. All right,
Sure.
we'll get into the humble brag portion.
Okay.
Saturday at Town Hall, I was selected and honored as the
You got it?
nominee, the honoree
Yeah.
of the West Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Oh, congratulations. That's great.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh,
So I get a
neat.
sash.
That's
I gave a speech. West Hartford, I was with the 23. Can you get all that, Kyle? You seeing all that?
There
Very
you go.
proud of this.
Nice.
I walked the dog on Sunday with my daughter down to Gastro Park.
Wearing this?
I wore this the whole way.
Of course.
Just to embarrass her. But the marshal was Ed Carr. He
Yeah.
has played rugby and coached rugby for 20 years in West
Wow.
Hartford. He started a program. I think it's like the Black Hearts.
Yeah.
But very proud, and I'm very proud of my Irish heritage.
Absolutely.
And I'm very honored, and this just inspires me to continue to work hard for children and families that have heartbreak or tragedy. But my daughter was there. We were dancing after. My mom was there.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was so proud and honored. But Mike was there too. Mike knew Ed Carr,
Oh,
and
okay.
Mike knew me, so he showed up. So I was going to say this anyway, but it was a good segue that
There
Mike
you
was
go.
there.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm just going to rock it for the rest of the show.
Alrighty.
Oh, and I got a proclamation from the mayor and everything.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Oh,
There you
so
go.
I'm very proud of that. I'm going to get that framed.
Oh, for sure.
My 19 years teaching, my Neela and Bridget, their Irish names. Neela is for Cornelius, and Bridget is Saint Bridget.
Right,
is the
right,
Irish
right.
saint. And it says right here, this is really cool too. His charitable motto, "Be a good friend," is widely known and recognized throughout the town of West Hartford.
That's great.
So
That's
cool.
great.
So I'm just honored. What made you move to West Hartford?
We had been living in South Windsor, and I've been commuting to Schechter. Plus, we were also part of a of a small religious group that would meet once, I think, maybe once every other Shabbat. And we figured, since a large part of our life is in West Hartford anyway, we might as well move.
Nice.
And it's proved to be a very, very good move. It was a good place to raise a family, and it's a good place to live.
I know. I found out my wife was having twins. We were living in New Haven.
Yeah.
We were like, we got to move to West Hartford. She was from East Granby. I was from Waterbury, so it was like right in the middle.
There you go.
We were both educators at the time.
Uh-huh.
She's now the senior director of Oak Hill School of the Blind.
Oh, nice.
So just wrote a grant. Stayed up to midnight all week last week writing
wow.
a grant with the State Department of Education for $1 million grant.
Wow.
And I'm like amazed. $1 million.
That's great. That's terrific.
Again, making a difference. She doesn't see any of that million, but students with differing abilities will benefit from that. So I'm very proud of her, and it was really cool. Yeah, West Hartford, can't beat it. I teach and live here,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have it any other way. So really cool. How many children do you have?
3 boys, one of whom lives in Ellington. Our middle son and his wife live up in Cambridge, Mass. That's temporary. When he finishes rabbinic school, they'll see where they wind up. And our youngest, who was a music producer, I just spoke with him on WhatsApp today. He's in Germany now.
Oh, wow.
He's been to more places he's not quite 29, more places at this age than I've been in my entire life. But that's the nature of what he does professionally.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I had your resume. You want to just take a peek over mine and see what points out?
Sure.
You actually inspired me. You have an awards section. I didn't have an awards section. So I got my awards section.
Even
checked
without
out.
an awards section, you are still doing great things. So that's really important. Nice. I'm trying to look at. Well, there is an award section here. Kingsbury School
Yep, I just
Teacher
made
of
that.
the Year.
I just made that after looking at yours,
Oh, there we go.
but I got to add it in.
Really, Teacher of the Year nominee, Ambassador of Sight, Honoree of St. Patrick's Day Parade. I mean, this is terrific. This is great stuff. To say nothing of a great career in education. Nice.
Would you hire me if you were hiring?
Oh yes, knowing you as I do, absolutely. I mean, one of the primary requirements for being a teacher is you got to love what you're doing.
Yep.
You know, if you see yourself as helping these students move on in life and helping to give them skills to cope in life, you've given them something precious and valuable and necessary. So that's what we do as educators.
I agree. Speaking of which, my wife, I might have to call her on the podcast. This would be a first. Do you mind?
Not at all. Not at all.
Hold on. All right, let's see what she says.
Alrighty.
We don't want to just surprise her. Oh, do you have your phone on you?
I do have my phone on me.
All right, we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Rabbi, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
You got to put it on speaker. And I'm going to time you.
All right.
You got to make whoever you call,
Yeah.
you got to make them make a bird sound. So we've had 50 seconds.
Okay.
That was Ronald Harris.
Okay.
We've had my buddy Dylan Locke, who had call 3 different people.
Yeah.
So you want to call someone that's going to pick up,
Yeah.
someone that,
I know. Well, I'll.
speaker,
Oops.
bird sound.
Bird sound. Okay. Hold on a second. Give it a shot.
Turn that volume up so we can hear it.
Yeah.
You have headphones? I think your headset.
No, I don't have any headphones on. Oh, come on, dear. You gotta be home.
Oh, yep, I hear it.
Either that or Leia? No, she might be out walking the dog.
It's still ringing.
Yeah. Well, that's strange. Leia?
Hello, you have reached Leia Cohen.
No good. All right. Only one other possibility I can think
Still
of.
timing. Still timing.
All right,
See, this
hold
is
on a
valuable
second.
seconds
All
off your
right.
time, Rabbi.
I'm going to do my best. Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Baba?
Okay, Levy, I have a strange request for you. I'm on a podcast right now. I need you to... yeah, I'm on a...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I need you to make a bird sound. Any bird sound. That's awesome.
Let's
Thank
go.
you.
Good
Thank you so
job.
much, Levy. I appreciate it.
Call. That's a crow.
All right. Thanks, Laves.
Levy.
Bye-bye. That's great.
Who's Levy?
Levy is my oldest son.
Nice. Nice. See,
Yeah,
you could
he-
depend on the firstborn, right? Is he the
Oh, yeah,
firstborn or
yeah.
the oldest son?
He's actually the third in the line. His son, Caleb, our only grandson, is the first son of a first son of a first son of a first son.
Oh, wow.
So we have it going back a few generations.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to call my wife now. Let's get her to make the bird sound. I never did the bird game with her. She's going to love that.
I think he'll forgive me.
Hey, Nicole. I'm on a podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends. You ever watch it?
I haven't seen it before.
Have you heard about it?
I haven't heard about it much either.
Anyway, we're playing a game. Can you make a bird sound?
Caw-caw.
Yes! Yes! Rabbi was 42 seconds, and you were 28 seconds.
There you go.
Rabbi had to make 2 calls. What's up?
Okay, glad I could help.
Anything else you want to talk about on the podcast?
No, not on the podcast.
All right, I'm in trouble later, so I'll get to Stern talking to when I get home.
Yes, sir.
All right, I love you. Thanks for playing.
You.
Bye.
Fun.
Bye. All right. I'm not in trouble.
The nice thing about family, they tend to give us a lot of rope.
Yeah. Caca.
Yeah.
And what did she do? Did she do a caca too?
It sounded like it.
The caca's the go-to bird sound.
There we go.
All right, bird sound, phone game. All right, so we play another game.
Okay.
First, last, best, worst. So I'll give you a topic, though.
Okay. First, last, best, worst. Okay.
Let's do, we talked a lot of teaching. Let's do like your class. Your first class, your last class, your best class, and your worst class.
First class I taught full-time was 89 to 90. Last class I taught full-time was 2020, 2021. Wow, I hate... I'm not going to mention the class that I found the most challenging. I don't want to call anyone out.
But there is one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all we need to know.
But
There's always one.
Yes, but I'll as I say, that's as far as I'll go with that. One of the best classes I ever taught. Wow. I'm thinking they're going to love to hear this, but one of the classes is, I mean, all the classes have their own special charms, but last year's graduating class was probably the last class I'll teach that I taught them all 3 years of middle school. I mean, middle school is now expanded to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, but my guess is, given my age, number of years I've been teaching, that last year's graduating class may be the last class I taught all their years of middle school for Judaic studies. So, are they the best class? I don't know if I'd make that statement, but there's a special relationship there.
Yeah, you have that special relationship, and just to say that alone, like
Yeah,
that bond forever.
Yeah.
What can you go over like a topic of Judaic studies in middle school? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Right now, the 7th graders could be going on a trip to D.C., including the National Holocaust Museum. So we're shifting. Usually, in years past, I would do the Holocaust curriculum for 8th grade only. I'm shifting it over now to 7th grade, but I'm finishing up this unit with 8th grade. 8th grade is doing a unit now on the history of Israel and modern Zionism. Probably one of the most impactful courses I've ever done. I decided very early on in my teaching career I was going to do a course on death and mourning. It was always my concern is at some point every one of my students is going to deal with death and mourning in their life, and I would rather they first deal with it here in this type of supportive environment than out on their own, as it were. So I have been doing that class for 25, 30 years with the 8th grade, because I really felt in terms of how I wanted to pitch that class, I felt the 8th graders would be the most mature and the most able to handle it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough subject.
It is. It's not easy, and I tell them that from the start. I said, look, this is not going to be a fun topic, but it's going to be an important one, because it's at some point you're all going to have to deal with it. And I'd rather, as I say, I'd rather you deal with it here in this type of environment than wait until you're, out there in the world, as it were, not quite on your own, but outside that environment.
Do you have to do something for like a week of?
Yeah, the initial traditional period of mourning is called Shiva, or Shiva, which in Hebrew means 7 because it's a 7-day period of mourning.
Yep.
So traditionally, that's the period of mourning that people will observe right after the death of a close relative, and it's if you looked, I mean, to me, one of the most important things about the topics is that death isn't something you get over. Death is something you learn how to deal with. And the great thing about the approach of Shiva and the other Jewish periods of mourning is when you suffer a loss, when someone you love dies, it's devastating. And the whole process of mourning, the rituals you follow, are really meant to help bring you back into life gradually over time. And I think one time either someone else or maybe I might have described the death of a loved one as a wound is sort of a scar. The scar never goes away. It's always part of who you are, but sometimes it becomes more manageable. And it's really one of those times when I get to sort of blend my rabbinic identity and my educator identity together in terms of helping students to deal with it. And probably I think the most important piece of what I do with it at the end of the unit, they have a take-home file to deal with, but one of the pieces is where they have to say, what have you learned about our tradition and what have you learned about yourself? And to read what these 8th graders write is just mind-blowing. It's jaw-dropping because, they've written things like, before I was really afraid of death, but now I understand it better, or things of that nature. I feel like, I was worried about how I'm going to be able to handle it, but now I think I'll be able to handle it better. Just to see the emotional growth in them in dealing with this heavy a topic is hugely important, because it's going to be part of their existence.
Yeah.
And to be able to start to think about how they're going to cope with it now, how they're going to be able to, put those pieces together, if I've helped a little bit, then I've really done something important.
Yeah. I give you a lot of credit. That is a tough subject.
It is.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest.
No,
Do you talk about dealing with dying themselves, or losing losing a loved one, or both?
Not so much dying themselves. I mean, I think some of the students, in terms of what they've written, have said, now I understand it, and I'm not as afraid of death as possible. I certainly don't want them at that age to accustom themselves to the idea they're going to die. But on the other hand, understanding it as part of, and I don't want to be overly colloquial, the cycle of life. It's an important topic for them, and one of the things I do, which I think may touch them the most, there was a DVD a former director pointed me towards, which talks about kids dealing with death, and it's just the emotional maturity with which they handle it is really very, very impressive. And it's not always easy. For example, in one class one year, a child had just lost their grandfather, and so seeing that DVD was not easy emotionally, but it was important. And I always, I give students the opportunity, especially when they're seeing that DVD. I said, look, if you feel you need to go out of the room for a couple of minutes, it's fine. It's not a problem. I think sometimes students discover emotional depth within themselves they didn't really know was there. And as I say, it's not an easy topic, but it's an important one.
Well, you're doing great things.
Appreciate
again,
it.
In the community, you've been there for 35 years?
I'm in my 35th year, yeah. Yeah.
And at Solemn Schechter, do you have to be Jewish to go there?
I believe, yeah. I believe that one of the prerequisites of attending there, since it's a Jewish day school, yeah.
What, do you remember Alicia Dix? She was there.
Yes. She was a teacher there, yeah.
Matt Dix, her husband,
Yep.
was the first guest on the Feeney Talks
Oh, really?
with Friends
He
podcast.
does the Moth Talks or something? Yes.
He's a coworker. He's at my school, too.
Oh,
so
nice.
He's a good buddy.
Interesting. I've seen him do a couple of educational sessions. Interesting guy.
I did 3 speak-ups, maybe 4.
Yeah.
How I Met My Wife, Mrs. Jarrell, my 5th grade teacher.
Oh, yes.
I got beat up by a guy with no arms and no legs. You should check it out.
Wow. Okay.
And I can't think of the 4th one. Or maybe I did one of them twice.
Yeah.
But we had a motivational speaker. His name was The Stub. He gets on stage freshman year, and he's like, they throw him a ball. He catches the ball. He played football. He was hard to tackle. He wrestled. And I'm getting more and more like in disbelief. Like, no, come on. Then he goes, I once pinned a 200-pound man. And here I am, freshman.
Yeah.
I raised my hand. I'm like, how did you pin a 200-pound man?
And then he showed you.
The crowd's like, oh, got him, Feeney. He goes, come on stage and I'll show you. So the crowd is like, ooh. So then what do I do?
Yeah.
If you beat him up, you beat up a guy with no arms and legs. If you get beat up, so it's a...
Right.
I get on stage. I get on stage, of course. He goes, go on your knees and give me a push. I go to my knees. I lean over and give him my best push. He ducked and used his momentum against me and flipped me head over heels.
Oh my gosh.
I always say I flew by the moon like E.T. And I landed flat on my back and couldn't breathe. And then I look over, the whole 200 freshmen are going, ah.
There you go.
Teachers were, ah. And that changed my whole high school career.
Yeah, it's a humbling experience.
Good old Stub. And I told that story at a speak up. Someone Googled it, found the guy. His name's Brent Eastwood.
Yeah.
I emailed him. We talked on the phone. He remembered me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I guess because next time he went, they put out a mat. But no, Feeney got slammed
right
flat on a hard
the wood
stage.
floor. There you go.
So, and then there's YouTube videos of him like wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's him.
Wow.
So, lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Dix is great. Solomon Schechter's great. Great to finally talk with you.
For sure.
Ty, what's your take on Ty?
Ty is he's the perfect guy for that job. He's got a great attitude. I mean, not only a great player, but just he runs the league well. He's a nice guy, easy to talk to. He really cares about it. I think the JCC is lucky to have him in that role.
Yeah. What about, do you know Rob Alicon? Rob Alicon, big guy, CrossFit.
I don't think so.
I'm only asking. He was a podcast guest, number 3.
Nice.
Scott
nice.
and Andy?
Scott, oh, for sure.
Who would you pick first, Scott or Andy?
Oh, man. Look, if I'm looking to get a score down low and I'm looking for someone with a motor, I'm looking at Scott.
Yeah.
Andy's a great leader. He's a great captain. Good ball handler. Deadly from. He's a good shot from 3-point range. But just I've only played with Scott maybe on 1 or 2 teams over the years, maybe. But he's a heck of a competitor.
He's great. Lefty.
Yeah, which makes it even hard to defend because you aren't always. He's a lefty, but you're not always able to easily defend him.
Yeah, we got a good shot. What would you give our percentages of winning the league this year?
Well, right now we're tied for first. It's really anybody's. If we play our game, if we play like we played last week, I wouldn't want to come up against us in the playoffs.
Yep.
The key for us is just to keep our heads in the game the whole time, keep on doing the things that we know are smart, and that have us doing well, and just keep on going on with them. We've got talent at so many positions. We just complement each other very, very well. And not all teams do that. So every time I talk about our team, I'm really, really positive about it.
Definitely the tallest team I've ever played on.
Yes. I mean, we got some severe height there, but that's, you need that on rebounding. You have to have that with the lack of, because I've been on teams with lack of height before, and doesn't matter how good you are from the outside, you're going to have off games.
Yeah.
But if you've got inside height and the height that's willing to use itself physically, you really have something.
Yep. No, I'm happy to play with Decker for the first time.
Yeah.
If he passed me the ball, I don't know if I mentioned that.
I'm guessing you did.
All right, switch it up. Favorite restaurant? Do you have a favorite restaurant? Oh, wait, actually, before I go on.
Sure.
You play with the Kippah on.
Yes.
You're wearing the Kippah now.
Yes.
Can you first talk about, origin or reasons why the Kippah and why you play hoop in it?
Well, I mean, historically, the reason is probably when vast majority of Jews went into Babylonian exile about 586 BCE. They were a minority among the majority population, and I suspect the idea of wearing a head covering was probably part of distinguishing them from the majority population. Interestingly, the Jewish population that remained in what was then called Judea did not develop the custom of covering the head. So the custom of Jews living in Babylonia centuries ago became the predominant Jewish custom. For me, it's symbolic of the fact that I take my religion seriously. It clearly identifies me as someone who's Jewish when I'm out in public.
That's a reason too. It's like
sure
to be proud of your heritage, to show the world I'm Jewish. Okay.
And I can't tell you how many times I've been in the store. I've been in a grocery store when someone who's older than I am asks me for help to get something off the shelf, because for them, seeing the Kippah means I'm a safe, helpful person. That's what they read into it. So I also realize that by doing this, I identify Jewishly, so that I always have a further impetus to realize, look, I'm in public. I'm obviously identify as a Jew. I want to identify in that way as positively to people as possible. So it's not only a responsibility, it's an opportunity for me. So that's part and parcel.
And how come sometimes it's called a yarmulke?
Yarmulke is Yiddish. Kippah is Hebrew.
Gotcha.
So either one is accurate, and it depends. Oftentimes, it depends on what you were brought up with. Which term you were brought up using. So.
And sometimes I was told it's for praying and eating, right?
Yeah, and some people certainly because
sometimes all the time.
Right, because if they're saying a blessing or if they're saying prayers, we're wearing a kippah or a yarmulke out of respect is something that many people do.
Marissa's husband, Matt Spector, wears a kippah at camp all year long.
Interesting.
Unless he's wearing a hat, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So he'll have some sort of head covering.
Head cover. Has to have a head cover.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed today you took off your hat and had the kippah. So you
Oh,
doubled
yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a Ranger's hat.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm a native New Yorker, so I have to represent.
What else are you?
I'm a Mets fan, I'm a Jets fan, and I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I go back far enough that I remember Shea Stadium when I was a kid growing up. If you were a Mets fan, you were a Jets fan, and you weren't a Yankees fan. There was none of this
Mets,
cross-pollination.
Jets, Nets.
No, not Nets. The Nets were the hated team because they were Long Island, even though I grew up on there because they were the interlopers. The other team that has always had my heart is UCLA because my mom went to UCLA, my uncle went to UCLA. So I've had UCLA on the brain since I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that. You have shirts and hats of UCLA.
Yeah.
Okay, now I was going to ask that one
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Now I know.
Actually, and the T-shirt you see me wearing at basketball was actually a gift from a student when she graduated Schechter.
Oh, nice.
And it was really tough for her because I think her father went to Arizona. So for her to give me a UCLA T-shirt in graduation was really something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, some of those student gifts are really special.
Oh,
I
my
hold on
gosh,
to
yeah.
them still to this day.
For
and
sure, for sure.
They obviously know your likes and dislikes because they're with you all year.
Yeah.
I recently, Christmas, I got
Yeah.
a pair of Jordans. The whole class.
Chip didn't get you Jordans.
Jordans.
That's great. That's
really
great.
cool. The brand new Jordans, like the Jordan 35s.
Oh, wow.
So really cool.
I had a student who graduated last year, got me one of those little screaming goat things.
Oh,
You
yeah.
push it, screaming, because she knows my sense of humor. So yes, I have a screaming goat at home.
All right, back to the restaurant. Favorite restaurant. Doesn't have to be in West Hartford.
Oh,
Be anywhere.
wow.
And then there's a follow-up question.
Okay. If I'm in West Hartford, favorite restaurant is definitely G Monkey down the road. Outside of that, wow.
Gee, monkey, really? Are you vegetarian?
No, but since my wife and I keep kosher, to be able to eat at a vegetarian place and not have to worry about any issues of meat or anything is.
So you automatically it's kosher if it's vegetarian? Because let's
it's-
explain
well,
that. What's kosher?
I could.
Meat and cheese don't go
Well,
together.
sorry, you can't mix meat and milk, and there are certain types of animals you can't eat, and also if you're going to be able to eat a kosher animal, it has to be slaughtered in a certain type of way that minimizes the pain for the animal. Restaurants, the only place that comes to mind, and I haven't been there in years, is there's a kosher restaurant in Midtown Manhattan called Le Marais. I feel like every time my wife and I have gone back to New York, I always try and get there. It's because being able to eat, I don't eat red meat often. I really have maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. But when we're in a place where it has kosher restaurants, it's like, yeah, I'm there.
Awesome. So you're on Le Marais?
Le Marais.
Le Marais.
Now I'm assuming it still exists. I haven't been out to a New York restaurant in a good number
Did
of
you see
years.
the Empire State Building lit up green and white to
For
celebrate
St. Patrick's Day?
yesterday to
Yeah.
celebrate the Philadelphia Eagles winning. Is that not crazy?
Yes, that is crazy.
I'm thinking about boycotting New York. I'm a Giants fan.
You're a what fan?
Giants. I'm
Giants.
Giants, Knicks, Yankees.
The only reason I kind of root for the Giants is in memory of my late father-in-law, who was a big Giants fan. So I don't wish them bad, but I thought
it was a joke.
What?
That
That they
the
did that.
Empire State Building lit up green
Go
for
figure.
an opponent that beat them
Yes, yes.
and has their own major city. They can do what they want.
For sure. I mean,
All right, so you're
strange times.
You're at your favorite restaurant. You
Yeah.
could have 4 guests,
Yeah.
dead or alive. Who would be your
wow.
4 guests?
4 guests. Okay. Boy, I hadn't thought about this one. Albert Einstein would be interesting to try and have a conversation with. Wow. Let me see. It's got to be some from the sports world. I'd love to talk to Sandy Koufax
Oh, that's a good one.
about what his experience was like in the major leagues. I mean, he was too short. Was too short. He was too good, and his career was too short.
Was he Jewish?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big thing when I was a kid growing up that he wouldn't pitch on Yom Kippur.
Oh, that's right.
It was huge. Who else I'd like to talk to? Four people, Einstein, Sandy Koufax. I would love to talk to Hubert Humphrey. I admired him so much when I was a kid growing up in terms of politics. He was always the happy warrior.
Now, who's that? New York governor or something?
No, he was a longtime senator from Minnesota.
Okay.
And he was one of the early advocates of civil rights at the Democratic Convention when he was actually still mayor of Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
And that reminds me, Daniel Inouye, who was a senator from Hawaii, who was part of, I don't remember the name of the brigade. He was part of an all-Japanese-American brigade in World War II. I think the most honored unit in the United States Army in terms of numbers of medals received. He was just someone who was, I remember, seeing him give speeches in the Senate. I know he was on one of the Watergate committees, but he was someone who, just in terms of his personal integrity, to have experienced prejudice as he did, and to have served with such distinction as a United States Senator, I would love to have a conversation with him about his life
I
experience.
got to look those two guys up. I learned something new.
Yeah.
See, you're always teaching.
It's one of the advantages of having been around for a while.
Who was the Hawaii guy?
Senator Daniel Inouye, Inouye, a Democrat from Hawaii, served a number of terms in the Senate.
Cool. And Hubert Humphrey.
Yep. He was also a vice president under LBJ.
Okay. That's awesome. All right, now we have trivia. So how are
Okay.
you good at trivia?
They tell me I'm decent, so
All right.
I'll go with that.
We're going to start off.
Sure.
Only U.S. state to begin with the letter P.
Pennsylvania.
What is the scientific symbol for potassium?
I was going to say potassium. KL?
K.
K, all right.
We'll give it
It's
to you.
close, all right.
Which soap opera actress won Best Actress Daytime Emmy on her 19th try?
Was it Suzanne Lucci?
Yep. I was jacked that up. Good job. Who is the legendary monk who invented champagne?
Oh, wow.
He's named after it. It's a champagne. So name all your champagnes.
Corbet? Oh, gosh. This is not an area
I'm
of
going to have to
strength.
give you
Yeah.
Don Perignon.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I
Yes,
put
yes, yes.
Brute. I
Brute.
thought in what country was paper invented?
Egypt? No, wait, country? Yeah.
China.
China. Really? Wow.
What is the common name for dried plums?
Prunes.
How many films did Sean Connery play James Bond?
I think it was only 4.
6.
6. Wow, okay.
Can you name one?
Dr. No.
Can you name another one?
Thunderball.
Another one.
From Russia with Love.
Nice. Keep going.
Hold on a second. From Russia with Love, Thunderball. Think of the early ones. Goldfinger.
Wow. That's impressive.
Well,
I've never seen any of these.
I have to understand,
James
I love film, so film is a passion of mine.
All right, 2 more. There's Diamonds Are Forever.
Ah.
You Only Live Twice.
Twice. I was thinking about that one, but I thought, no, maybe that was Roger Moore. Okay.
How many valves does a trumpet have?
It's either 4 or 5.
You're doing the finger thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll say 4.
3.
3. Ah.
What boxer is known as the People's Champ? People's Champion.
We're not talking about Muhammad Ali. No.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Okay.
The largest U.S. state by area.
Alaska.
Correct. What animal can be seen on a Porsche logo?
Ooh, is it a lion?
Horse.
Oh, it's a horse. Oh, yes.
What was Leonardo DiCaprio's name in Titanic?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Jack.
You said you were a movie
Jack.
guy.
Jack.
Good job, Rab.
Yeah.
I love it. Rabbi coming through with the jack. So out of the 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you went 8 for 12. 75.
On a cold call, I'll take it.
You could have phoned a friend. You could have called your oldest son again. Come
Oh,
on.
no.
Bird call. Caw, caw, caw.
That was great.
That was so good. All right, well, man, we're on crazy questions now. Oh boy, crazy questions sponsored by. I could talk to you all day. Right, isn't this guy amazing? I love it. My favorite teammate. Now he might just be my favorite podcast guest. Who knows? Get it to a ball guy. Let me dribble on Wednesday. How about that?
All right.
I let you on the podcast. Maybe let me get like 2 or 3 dribbles in.
All right. I'll try not to hassle you.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't have it any other way.
There we go.
That's it. Give me another good that's it.
That's it.
Would you rather kiss a frog or hug a lizard?
Hug a lizard.
Would you rather eat a whole raw onion or a whole lemon?
Ooh. I'd go with lemon. That's a toughie.
Would you rather be able to talk to dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Would you rather have a YouTube channel or teach soccer?
YouTube channel. I can't teach soccer.
Would you rather be a water bottle or a bench?
Water bottle or a bench? Water bottle.
What's your there's elf on a shelf, and then I saw mensch on a bench.
Right.
What's your take on that?
I mean, look, I guess it's fairly harmless. I mean, I guess it's someone's attempt to try and see if they can't take something in popular culture and give it a Jewish spin.
Okay. And for the almighty dollar, I'm sure, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, such is life.
What's your email and password?
I'm going to hold on that one. Almost had me.
And social security number.
No, we're not going there. One.
Right.
No, that's not it.
Ooh, these are pretty good. I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay.
Would you rather run across hungry alligators' back or run underneath angry elephants?
Oh, jeepers. Wow. Either one is not. I guess I have to go on alligators' backs. I mean,
Right, you got to try your luck with
Yeah.
the backs, I would say, too. Just
yeah,
go
but
fast.
because you never know where those feet are going to go from the elephants. So yeah, it's probably a safer bet, if you can call it a safe bet.
Would you rather be a spy or a scientist?
Ooh, scientist, unquestionably.
Would you rather have yellow teeth or green eyes?
Yellow teeth, because at least you can try and do something about it.
Mm-hmm. How tall are you?
5'9.5".
Would you rather eat pizza that tastes like ice cream or ice cream that tastes like pizza?
Wow. I think ice cream that tastes like pizza. Tastes like pizza. There we go.
How old were you when you met Mr. Feeney?
Give me a second. I'm 68 now. Maybe I was I was close to 60. 59,
Yeah.
59, 60.
I think I've been in, this is my 14th year playing.
Oh, then
How many years are you in?
Oh, since 95, so I'm in my 28th year playing.
Playing.
Yeah.
Winter. Have you missed any?
I did once when I missed the cutoff for signing up, and that was my foolishness. Tie felt terrible.
You should get the,
Yeah.
you're like a, what's that called? Emeritus? Emeritus?
Emeritus? Hold on a
Emeritus.
second. Hold on.
Oh,
Leia, I'm still here. I'll have to call you back. I'm sorry. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll explain to you later.
squawk like a bird. You should just had her squawk like a bird.
I'm not going to do that to her.
Honey, I just called you.
It's a squawk like a bird. Lucy got a lot of splaining to do. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, I'll be toughy.
What's your favorite word?
Oh, Lord. I got to think of one of the fancy words I use with my students. Favorite word.
It's a good one.
Oh, wow.
Got you thinking.
No, I'm fond of iteration, but I'm not. That's not one I can use often with my students. But I'm sure I'm going to think of something else.
Iteration? Yeah, what's that one mean?
An iteration, like another time of doing something.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said blue. Now I'm going to say gray.
How old are you? 68?
68.
We got that again.
Yeah.
How old are you? 68? That's like 3 times.
They really want to know.
Where do you live? West Hartford.
West Hartford.
Would you rather be 95 or 100?
Oh, as long as I'm going to be that age, might as well shoot for 100.
How long are you going to continue to play hoop in the league?
As long as my body holds up. I mean, right now, I had a little bit of knee trouble over the summer, but I feel like 100% now. So, as long as my body holds up, I'm not putting an end date on it.
I love it. That makes me so happy. I was like hurting. I'm like, my back is broken, but you're my inspiration. You're my role model.
Appreciate it.
I'm playing forever too. How old are you? Where you live? Would you rather go to Egypt or Rome?
Well, I've been to Rome. I haven't been to Egypt. I know. Actually, I'd probably like to go back to Rome again. Rome, I was only in for a couple of days. I feel like there's probably a lot I would like to see at this point.
What's your favorite shape?
Shape. Oof. I'm going with rectangle.
What's your favorite thing to learn?
Favorite thing to learn. Ooh, wow. I mean, I still have a lot to learn about computers. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I guess learning about how things are, how things work, how things are made. I still find it great. There was a special on Disney Plus on Industrial Light and Magic. The special effects organization that George Lucas put together, and just watching how they did what they did before they were able to go to CGI. I found that fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Would you rather sleep or play?
Oh, play.
Starve or eat?
Eat.
Play basketball or soccer?
Basketball.
That's a silly question.
Yeah,
I knew that one. Do you like animals?
Yes.
What's your favorite subject?
Oh, wow. Movies.
Do you have a dog?
A dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got one actually at the end of July.
What's it called? What kind of dog?
It's he's a mix. My wife just got back the DNA on him as a Hanukkah gift. My kids arranged to have a DNA test for the dog. He's got some Chihuahua. He's got some Schnauzer in him. He's a real mix. He's a real mix. We got him, as I said, at the end of July. He came to us with the name Beavis, and I said no. No. So he's now Bruiser. And it's only after I named him Bruiser that my son, who I called up with the cacaw, pointed out to me that was the name of the dog in Legally Blonde, and I had totally forgotten that. But Bruiser is much better for him than Beavis.
Yeah. Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, he has a brother, a half brother, who my wife just made contact with the owner in New York, who I think originally had the name Butthead, and they changed it to Smarty because they said, no, this is not fair, the dog.
We got a dog. I think our dog was Brady. And I was like, absolutely not Brady. we went with Barkley.
There we go.
For Sir Charles, the mound round to rebound.
There we go, of course.
Do you have any questions for me?
What's the best thing you like about teaching?
Right. I don't know if we talked on this, but I wrote down in 8th grade I wanted to be a lawyer or, kids. But I'm not a lawyer, but I get to make or form or push towards that path what they want, so I could create lawyers or, create artists or lawyers or astronauts. And I have one kid from Honoree who went to Yale, so it was great to hear and see.
Nice.
I haven't caught up with him since.
Yeah.
He's long past Yale now. And just kids that have a passion. There's future artists and authors in my room and scientists, and it's up to me to encourage them. I really push lifelong learning, asking questions, making mistakes. So we're all, good question. Any recommendations? Books, podcasts?
Not that I can think of it, but keep on doing this. Keep on letting people know about Friends of Feeney. I mean, you're doing great things with it. Just keep on getting interesting people who you think are doing interesting things. Yeah, that's a great way to go with this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to sit down with you. It means a lot. Rabbi, you're a good friend. Our motto, be a good friend, pick up trash, hold the door, give a compliment, be charitable. So you can't ask. That's very simple. We're going to hopefully if people start driving like a friend, it would be helpful too.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
But our team is full of friends, and it was wonderful to talk with you. It means the world to me. You're great in the community. You're great on the basketball court. So, yeah, closing remarks.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for asking me to come here, and it was great.
All right, we're going to say be a good friend on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Be a good friend.
Thanks, Rabbi. That was awesome. Sorry I jacked up.